So not too long ago, we took an online poll of our membership. The question was, or one of the questions was, what's the most troubling shot in your game? What shot's giving you the most trouble? Now, I had an intuition of what that one might be. You did as well. We were both wrong.
Yeah.
The number one trouble shot that golfers of all skill levels, plus handicaps all the way up to beginners, was not what we had expected to see. And this video is all about fixing that one trouble shot. Sean, listen, can you play with a thin shot?
You actually, there's a term, thin to win. I think I want a term hitting nothing but thin shots.
Thin to win. So if you have one of those approaches at your home course where, let's say it's 150 yards, pins over a pond. We have one of these at Cartersville. Pins over a pond. You can thin that shot all day. Worst case scenario, you're over the back of the green.
No problem.
Now, if you play a fat shot or have the fat shots, and usually when people have fat shots, they come up at the worst time. Now you've got that 150-yard shot over water and you hit it fat. You don't get to play that shot, right? You're gonna have to tee it up again and try to hit it again, and sometimes it'll pop up again and you can see how it goes sideways. So fat shot is the one shot in golf that you cannot game plan for, right?
No.
You can kind of play a slice, play hooks, this and that. You just can't game plan for a fat shot because you don't know how fat it's gonna be or when it's gonna show up.
Debilitating shot.
Debilitating.
Yeah, enough to drive you out of the game.
In that poll we just talked about, more people complained about this shot than the shank.
Yeah. So, what is it? How does it happen, right?
Let's just find it.
Okay, so I think we have a towel on the ground here just to give us some feedback as to where this club would need to be in order to hit the ball solid with an iron, right? Because you want a downward hit on the ball. So I think the most common cause would be the player that has let's say the center of their chest too far behind the ball at this kind of last delivery phase here with the golf club. When the hands are kind of coming into the ball, you're trying to make contact.
Right.
If your chest is back, now you've got an issue.
Right.
The low point of the club is going to end up too soon. So the club is arcing down. It reaches this low point before the ball, and if your arms the way they're supposed to be for impact, you're going to drive the club into the ground.
That's exactly right.
So the ugly stepchild of the fat shot is to pull the arms in and hit it thin.
That retractable cord, right?
Yeah.
Boom, I don't want to hit it fat. I just saw one go in the water. Now I'm going to thin it and yell 4 over the green.
And that's the most difficult thing about golf is like when you hit a bad shot, you're on the golf course, you got to fix it somehow. And most people just don't know how to fix their own swing. So they're just going to make these compensation moves in order to not hit it fat. And now they got themselves another problem.
One of the best quotes I've ever heard about teaching a game or just the skills that you need playing the game is from the late great Harvey Penick. And he talked about you have to own the skill of just being able to go out in your backyard and clip the same flower at the same spot in your swing every time. Like you have to know where this club is going to contact the ground.
That's it. It might be one of the number one fundamentals. You got to be able to hit the ground in the right place.
That's exactly right. So let's go back to that scenario where you had too much tilt away at the ball. So what we see almost invariably in conjunction with this, let's even wind the swing back a little bit. So as it comes down, I'm going to grab your pocket here. You're really going to slide the hip forward. That's almost always going to guarantee you have too much of this going on. Now the low point is back there towards the towel.
Yeah, it's like a teeter-totter, right? You kick that hip way out in front, the upper body's got to do something to counter it. So now the low point's too far back, you would contact this towel or the mud, or the ground, right?
That's right.
Stick the club in the ground.
And golfers are better athletes than they give themselves credit for. So if you've heard of ground forces or using the ground to gain club head speed, and you slide this hip forward and try to push into the ground like you should, that's going to even tilt it farther back and make it worse. So what winds up happening is golfers start finding ways of slowing down that speed in anticipation for that shot.
Yeah.
And then you start to it creates a nasty snowball the wrong way.
Yeah, so that's the problem.
That's right.
We'll be right back with the next video and show you how the best players in the world do it, and you can incorporate that into your game. Okay, Mike, in the first segment, we identified the problem, right?
Right.
Fat shots are caused a lot of times by keeping this mass of the upper body too far back on the downswing. Low points too far back. They're going to stick the club in the ground and hit that fat shot.
I would say that's without question the number. There's a lot. I mean, golfers can invent ways to hit bad shots, right? We've all been there. But I would say that's the number one cause that we see for the fat shot.
Okay, so we've seen a lot of 3D data. You guys have collected a lot of tour players. I've collected some here. What do you see with the higher level tour players that amateurs can mimic and copy and get better?
Right, and this is one of the things that since we've been using gears capturing this data, that was really surprising to see with such clarity, because they actually have a parameter in gears that really shows this very cleanly. So let's have you go back to the top of your swing there. So we just made a fat shot, right? We just chunked one in the water. Now the difference between the swing Sean demonstrated in the first segment to the pro move he's gonna demonstrate now is he's got the center of his chest, right? Three-dimensional, so it's not in his back, it's not in his chest, it's right in the middle. As he comes down, this center is gonna shift forward on top of the golf ball, actually in front of the golf ball, right there. Now, in this delivery stage, right, he is well in front of the golf ball, is on top of it with his chest. Now he's gonna start coming in. Now it tilts away to where he's pretty much right on top or just slightly behind the golf ball with the center of his chest, right?
Absolutely right.
That's a massive distinction to make from what we saw in that first swing. Let's demonstrate that. Chest goes way back right from the start.
You can see where my buttons would point if I had a laser coming
Right.
out here. Or if you just used your finger, you could see automatically where I would be back.
So you want to think more of chest on top of the ball, or even slightly in front of the ball during transition, than keeping the head way behind the ball, because you'll do both. You'll get the head way behind it, that's a fat shot, or you'll get the chest right where it needs to be, that's a clean shot. So let's look at 3 drills, Sean, that really kind of help cure this fat shot with regards to where the upper body is moving in the swing.
Yeah, so let's start with a drill that you can do away from the golf course, maybe even at home, to start to incorporate some of these things, because at first it's a little bit easier to learn them away from the distraction of the ball flight.
Well, a lot of times this is just an ingrained motor pattern. Guys, don't make downswings without lowering the club by tilting the body. So this will help start to cure some of that and start creating new motor patterns.
For sure. So take your right hand grip on the club like you normally would, down, choke down a little bit to where you would normally have your right hand. Set up to the ball, and then take your index finger here, point it straight out and put it in the middle of your chest. When you bend over, obviously that'll be pointed somewhere down toward the golf ball, right? So make your backswing. As you turn back, this will turn away from the target, this pointer. Now here's the critical element here. As I swing the club back down, let my arms swing back down toward the ball, I'm going to rotate my chest as well. I want to try to point the finger at the ball by the time my hands get to waist high.
Right.
The kiss of death would be to swing down and have that pointer pointed way back here.
That's exactly right.
Right? So if I can point that thing down at the ball and now continue, and it should point in front of the ball at impact because I've continued to rotate my chest, that would give me a real good opportunity to miss this towel as opposed to having it pointed back and drive it in the ground.
That's exactly right. It's a really simple drill, right? Pointer, club down, and what you're trying to do is tune up the sequence of when those two things happen.
Yeah.
Now another really good drill, and this drill's been around for ages, right? We're gonna really force you now to not do this, or not allow you to do this in the downswing.
Okay, so now you can use a ball, right? You're out at the range, you want something else to feel actually hitting the ball. So go ahead and set the ball up and kind of in front of your left foot, and then take your right foot just on its tippy toe without really much weight on it.
Yes, that's a key. You don't want to be pressuring that right foot very much at all.
Should be able to tap it a little bit. And what you're gonna do is hit some little easy shots, just maybe waist high to waist high, trying to maintain your position here. It's kind of difficult, when you compromise your balance. If you did it wrong and kind of tilted back, I can't maintain my balance like that. So it's a good way to kind of figure out in your mind, using balance or lack of, how to keep your chest right on top of the ball.
Right on top of the golf ball. And again, you're going to hit the ball lower, right? Because you're not trying to scoop through it, but it's going to come off much stronger. Now, the third piece of this, or the third part of the cure of these fat shots, is going to be in conjunction with that stork drill. So let's have you set up again to the stork.
Yeah, perfect.
Now, I want you to take the club up, and I want you to concentrate on keeping this left shoulder here as you lower the club. Right there. Let's do it a couple times, get a couple pumps. All right, that's the move that actually happens in the golf swing. So you're going to pump it a couple times, now swing on through. So what we see golfers do all the time, and this creates a lot of other issues with playing and path, is they'll get to the top of the swing, their arms are basically kept passive or non-pulling down or whatever you may have been told, but you got to get the club down some way. So what they'll do is just tilt the body to lower the club.
Yeah, so the club's lowering, but
my relationship to my body has stayed the same.
But look what your chest is doing.
Now my chest is going down here. I've really limited the amount I can rotate, and the club is way far behind me and underplaying late. So
Fat Shot City.
yeah, oh gosh. So this Stork drill in combination with this little arm pump, left shoulder down, really is going to tune you up and give you the sense for how all those things start to gel together, and it's going to pull that low point way out in front of the towel.
Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did enjoy it, go ahead and give it a like. Also, if you have any questions about today's video or you have an idea of a video that you want us to shoot, go ahead and leave it in the comments below. We read every single comment. We also respond to the comments. So again, leave us a comment if you have any questions or there's anything you'd like to see. Now, if you haven't already, click the subscribe button. We have videos coming out every single week and we don't want you to miss one. So by clicking subscribe, that ensures you're notified right away when a new video comes out. And hey, if you want to add instant distance to your drive, and we all do, everybody wants more distance, go ahead and click the link in the pinned comment below. You're going to see a link. Click on it. It's going to take you to a page. You're going to enter your name and email address. We're going to send you an email where you're going to get access to Instant Distance, which is a video training that we put out. We know it's going to help you. We know we're going to see you farther down the fairway.